Let's talk about how Java invokes methods and what's actually happening when that happens. So here we have a simple program, and there's 3 lines of code. The first line of code prints out something to the console, and then we have a method invocation. So we go to this method and we execute the instructions inside that method. Once those instructions are finished executing, we return back to where we left off and we continue executing each instruction. Let's trace through example 1 using the debugger. I've set a breakpoint on the first line of code in our main method. So when I go to run this program by invoking the main method, it's going to pause there. I'm going to use the step feature to step to the next instruction, and you can see that main is showing up here, and I'm going to step into the method invocation for Ontario to continue tracing through those instructions. So I'm going to press step into, and I'm going to step, complete those 2 instructions. You can see that Ontario is on the top of the stack on top of main. And when I finish Ontario, it's no longer on the top of the stack. We just have main. So now I'm back at the main method, continue to step through, and the program finishes. When we look at this example, we can see that one method is executed, it finishes, and then we go to the next method, and we can see that they're taking turns at sort of the top of the pile. In example 2, again, I'm going to step, and then I'm going to step into. I'm going to complete the 2 instructions in Ontario. And you can see that Ontario is on the top of the stack with main underneath it. And once Ontario returns, it's no longer on the stack, and we just have main again. Our next instruction is an invocation for the Manitoba method. We're going to step into that. And you can see that it is now on top of main in our stack here. And we complete the 2 instructions in Manitoba, which returns us back to main. So now main is the only method on the stack. We have 1 instruction left, and we finish running that program. Here's a more complicated example. So when we invoke the Ontario method, we see another method invocation called Mississauga, and we invoke that method, and we see this layering effect where we're stacking methods on top of each other, and we're completing the method that is on the top of the stack. So now we're in the Mississauga method. We're going to execute all the lines of code in that method, and then we will return back to Ontario. Once that finishes executing, we can execute the next line of the main method, which again is another method invocation. And so we put that method on the stack, and we complete its lines of code. Example 3, we're going to step as we did before. We're going to step into Ontario, and we're going to step. At this point, we have another method invocation to Mississauga. We're going to step into that. And at this point, you can see there's 3 methods on our stack with Mississauga on top. That's where we currently are. So we're going to execute the instructions in Mississauga before we go back to Ontario. And now we're back into Ontario. It's the top of the stack. We're going to execute that last instruction, and then we will return back to main. We have a method invocation for Manitoba. We're going to step into that, and we're going to step through the instructions in Manitoba until we return back to main. Execute the last instruction, and then complete the program.